8
I think we're live now.
There we go. Ethan Skolnick here from American Airlines Arena. We've got two A's with me here. You're familiar with Alf954, Alphonse Sidney. He's on my, I guess would be my left, facing forward. And then a new contributor here to Five Reasons Sports, Althea Ramos. Thank you for
Hi.
joining us. We
Thanks
appreciate
for
it.
having me.
Good to have you here. All right, so Alf and I are here in the arena, in American Airlines Arena. It's still called that, by the way. And not a lot of other people seem to be, though. Not a ton of buzz for this game. I think Zion Williamson being out, but not just Zion, but apparently the entire Pelicans team other than Drew Holiday. No Goran Dragic tonight either. He's sick. Jimmy Butler, I believe he's going to give it a go. We're going to give you the starting lineups as we go forward here. But obviously, still no Justice Winslow due to the concussion, which is a topic we're going to get into today as well. And, of course, no Deion Waiters because he's suspended. So we'll see how many guys actually play for the Heat tonight. Some topics we want to go through. I'm going to start with Althea because I talk to Alf all the time, and I'm kind of sick of that. And I saw him last night. So one topic I want to throw out for you, Jimmy Butler, depending on whether he plays tonight or not, but the reality is, the Heat are 8-3 coming into this game, and he was the big signing in the offseason, and it seems to be going pretty well. Has he exceeded your expectations, met your expectations, or not met your expectations?
I wouldn't say he did or didn't. I feel like overall he's a great player, but when he played for Minnesota and Philly, like he had differences with his teammates. But being with Pat Riley now, I feel like it's more of his culture, and he fits in more, so he's more comfortable. So as of now, I wouldn't say he's greater than advertisement, but he sure will be soon.
Yeah, Alf, the big thing to me about him is that he hasn't forced anything,
Hello?
right? Oh, we're still working out some technical stuff. The first person here always gets hazed, so it's possible that we just didn't give you any sound. Alf, I'll go to you here in a second. When you look at Jimmy's situation here, to me, the biggest thing is that he's really only been aggressive offensively early in games 3 times, right? Like for the most part, it's been him sort of working his way into the game. Do you want to see him take a more aggressive approach?
I can't hear.
I mean, I think so far so good, right? I think he's feeling his way into games, but they're winning. So why really mess with what's being successful right now? He could be more aggressive, but I think what he's been doing is giving the rest of these guys a lot more confidence. You see Kendrick Nunn, you see Duncan Robinson, you see Bam. These guys are being super aggressive, and it's probably because they know that it's not going to get in the way of their star player. So yeah, of course, when like maybe a game like today without Goran, he needs to be more aggressive early. But so far, so good, man. It's just been working. And as far as has he been as good as advertised, I think he's been different than advertised. And the only person that really was touting the playmaking ability coming in was Eric Spoelstra, and we got to hand it to him because that's really been the biggest thing that we've seen out of Jimmy so far. It's the playmaking ability, the unselfishness, the team play. It's just been really fun to watch, and I think the entire team is following his lead because you see the assist numbers are way up.
Mm-hmm. Well, the assist numbers, the 30 assists, more than 30 assists in the last 2 games. Have had 33 or more assists 3 different times this season, which, by the way, is how many times the Big Three did it. Now, I know in the 2012-2013 season, which was the 66-win season, I know people are going to throw pace at me. I get it. But still, it's very, very impressive. The biggest thing with Jimmy has been the impact he makes defensively. And we can talk about the offense and how unselfish he's been, but quickest hands that I've ever seen for a Heat player. Alf and I talked about that on the podcast, and it just seems like down the stretch he makes 2 or 3 game-changing plays. Althea, let's go to you, provided you can hear me now. You can hear me now?
I can hear you.
You can hear me now. I feel like the Verizon commercial. The rookies. Kendrick Nunn and Tyler Hero, we're going to see even more of them tonight because no Goran Dragic, right? So no Justice Winslow, no Goran Dragic. Kendrick Nunn's going to be playing point guard quite a bit in this game, and Hero's going to be playing quite a bit too. We don't usually see rookies contribute that much, particularly to the Miami Heat. That tends to be the history, although I've pushed back against that a little bit. Yeah. What have you liked from Nunn and Hero so far, and what do you think can be improvements going forward?
I feel like they're ambitious and dedicated. They have big shoes to fill, and I don't know. I just think they're doing pretty well right now. They're stepping it up, and yeah.
Alp, when you look at Kendrick, we've talked about the Wall, did you seem to?
The starting lineup's out, by the way, just in case.
All right, is it the same as what we expected?
Yeah, Jimmy's playing, so that's
all right,
the really only.
So it'll be Nunn, Robinson, Butler, Leonard, and Adebayo, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's what we expected. And again, that means Hero's going to get a ton of minutes off the bench. He'll probably play 30 minutes at guard coming off the bench. Alphonse, we've talked about Nunn. It was first 5 games shot 53% from the floor. Next 5 games shot in the 30s from the floor. And then I've said I think he's going to feast against bad teams. Like, this is the kind of team tonight, unless Drew Holiday's on him a lot, that he's probably going to get off against. Where does his game need to go? Because they made an adjustment to him. He seemed to make somewhat of an adjustment back, but this goes on the entire season.
I think, like you said, he's made the adjustment. The fact that he's such an old rookie, I mean, I think he's, 23 years old? I don't think a lot of this stuff is actually. 24. Geez.
Yeah.
I don't.
Ancient. Well, not.
I mean, me. way over the hill. Way over the hill.
It's half my age.
I just called it old. I just called a guy 14 years younger than me old. Anyway,
right, exactly.
He's he. I don't think a lot of this stuff surprises him. I think he's handled. I think Hero's handled a lot of adversity well as well. But I think Nunn just has a lot more experience under his belt. So I don't think he really gets rattled by this stuff. He doesn't play like a rookie. He doesn't carry himself like a rookie. He had a couple bad games. Shooters are going to shoot. He kept shooting, kept working. He was very aggressive. One thing I'd like to see is better passing out of him. He had a season high 8 assists the other night. I'd like to see more games like that. There's a lot of times where I feel like he's pressing, but I think he comes from a school and a system where he was used to having to score all the time. So I'd like to see him make plays for his teammates a little bit more. Last game was a good start, and hopefully he can just keep doing that.
All right, I'm going to switch the third question here as we go forward, because I think, again, with what we're looking at with this team tonight, this may not sort of be the best competition in terms of to evaluate them. But I just want to look at sort of the start to this season from a fan perspective for both of you, because I don't come from that background, as you know, and I try to avoid acting like I'm from that background. Although obviously the better that the Heat are, the better it is for us as a network. But what struck me on Twitter and other places is that fans really enjoy this team. And I kind of wondered, it's sort of like when you find, I don't know, the perfect person for you, and that ends, like sort of LeBron, Wade, and Bosh were the perfect people for Miami Heat fans. And then it ended. It's like, will you ever find anybody that good again? Like, will you ever be happy again when you've had that, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like Heat fans are happy again, right? Like, Althea, like, what is your sort of perspective just talking to the general Heat fan about this team?
They're definitely more amped to show up to the games. I know last season I tried to go to a game and it was only $10 to go. So now it's like 40. So we're getting somewhere. I just think new faces. It's all about the culture in Miami, and
Althea used the word culture with me on this. That's a bad buzzword. That's
a bad buzzword?
Well, I don't. Althea,
he's a hater. He's a hater.
I'm not a hater. The whole culture. I don't know.
It's all about the culture.
It's all about the culture. Yeah, we're all cultured here. But it does. The $10 to $40, I get it. You can already see the parking is going up around here, which is not great.
Yeah.
As our guy Alex is trolling the arena right now, sending me texts trying to figure out where he's going to park tonight because he doesn't want to park at Bayside. But Alf, as the former, still Heat Twitter president, it does feel like this team has captured the imagination of this market very quickly. Right? Like it feels like the 03-04 team to me, except that one took some time.
Well, the difference is the activity of these guys, I guess, on social media. They're active, they get along really well, and it just there's a fun vibe to them. They seem like they get along really well. They really like each other. And when you see that happen and they're winning games, like that kind of stuff just it mobilizes a fan base. And Jimmy Butler came in as just advertised as this culture guy, and he has completely fit the bill. So his attitude has become infectious with the rest of the team. The fan base already loved Justice and Bam and how they were a little bit more fun-loving. They're really hard-working, but they're fun-loving. They're on social media. Jimmy brings that attitude with him. They all seem to get along really well. Myers Leonard's hilarious. Like Tyler Hero has all the drip. Like, it's hard not to like this team. I mean, it really is. Like, and we're in the past a lot of times, winning or not, you would see a lot of vitriol. Listen, I'm president of Heat Twitter. We're all about vitriol. But you would see a lot of vitriol from a lot of people, whether we're winning or losing, about just some of the guys that they had personal vendettas against. It's really hard not to like the personalities on this team. Like, you have your Bustis crowd, but they're weird. And you have small pockets, but it's not, the vibe is completely different. People are happy. For some reason, everyone's still trying to trade everybody. I don't get that.
Right. Yeah, no. I want to address that, actually. Well, first, I want to address one comment that came in that said you're actually the Bill Clinton of Heat Twitter as president. Oh. I don't know that I would. I thought of you more as the Warren Harding. I'm not sure. I don't know where the Bill Clinton comes. Yeah, I'm trying to place that. I know who you're not. So let's. But this is one of the interesting things about this to me, is that Heat fans still, there's this sort of intramural thing where it's a zero-sum game. Like, you have to, if 8 players play well on a given night, it's Kelly. Some people are like, Kelly sucks, or they won without Justice, so Justice sucks. It's I don't really get it. Why do we, Althea? Why do we eat our own, basically?
Why do we eat our own? Never heard that one. I had to process it.
Why is it that there's this need to diminish kind of? I don't know. It's like
I don't know. Do we expect
players against each other? Right? It's weird to me.
Because we expect more from that player. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't even know if it's that. I just think it's social media. It just it is what it is. Like, the hottest, most controversial take you can put out there is what's going to get the most retweets and the most likes. So if you want to call Kelly a bum after a game, it's going to get more interaction than if you just say Kelly's a fine gentleman. Like,
But he is. He's Canadian. Of course, he's a fine gentleman. Right.
He's the nicest guy in the world.
Right. Exactly. All right. One news note before we let you go, and then I want people to be able to find out how they can find both of you. We talked about Chris Silva a lot on the podcast. I just put this on Twitter, and there's been some concern about Chris Silva's service time, right? Because he's only allowed to spend 45 days with the team, and practice days don't count as long as he misses them. 45 days with the team on a 2-way contract. I talked to someone who would know today. I'll just put it that way. And basically the Heat
not
are
me.
not you, anybody but you. And I was told that the Heat are not concerned about this, and here's why. As the season progresses, they don't want to burn his days on practice, but as the season progresses, they get underneath the hard cap. So when they get underneath the hard cap, they will be able to sign a 15th player, and that player is likely going to be Chris Silva. So that will be sometime around January, early February, and that'll be around the time that Silva gets to about 45 to 48 service days. So they will take care of it. So I think Heat fans were worried about what's going to happen with Chris Silva. You shouldn't be. And then ultimately what they would do is sign another 2-way player, right? So they might have somebody on their radar at that point, but don't want you to be concerned. All right, everybody knows you can find Alf at Alf954. We don't need to tell you about that. I'm at Ethan J. Skolnick, 5 Reasons Sports, 5reasonsports.com, 5 Reasons Sports on Instagram. Althea, where do people find you?
Al_B_Ramos, RAMOS, on Instagram and Twitter.
What president is Althea? Is he Trump?
I hope not.
I hope not too.
I might be Trump, considering how my tenure has gone.
Yeah, I wouldn't work with you then. All right, it's good to be with all of you. Follow us at 5 Reasons Sports. Have a great night.
Good night.